Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Football Terrace action-packed show for you tonight. Some big transfer rumours in relation to Manchester United to delve into. A Jack Grealish update and a shake-up, which is trending across social media right now, and it's excellent to see. We're also going to be picking England's team ahead of Germany. I want to get people's thoughts and feelings early here about who they think should be starting in the England setup. We're going to be doing that a little bit later. Do me a big favor first of all, though, and smash the living daylights out of that like button. Share this on your social media platforms and make sure you subscribe. How are we all doing this afternoon, though? That's the first question to all of you. McNelly here says the terrace of football, and that's what we are. Top 6+1, but football nevertheless. What else is being said here? What else are people saying? Here we go is what Paul says. Maybe. Man like Sharik in the house says, I did say our targets were Sancho, a centre-back and right-back. Fab confirmed. Yeah, listen, I think what Fabrizio has said this afternoon, everyone kind of realised. Centre-back, right-back, Sancho. And it's kind of a lot of people are saying CDM. I don't necessarily. I've never felt that was the most important area for Manchester United to improve on this summer. I felt there were other areas that were more pressing, other areas that were more key. We may still look into those areas, but let's see. Some interesting news this afternoon, though, in relation to the centre-back pursuit, and that is of Raphael Varane. Miguel Delaney from The Independent has claimed that Raphael Varane himself wants to move to Old Trafford and play for Manchester United. It's becoming more and more apparent that Real Madrid are not going to offer him the deal that he wants. It's becoming more and more apparent that he wants to move on and go somewhere else. Interestingly, on top of this, the stumbling block in this, though, is the wages. So what the article says this afternoon is that there is a stumbling block in form of his wages. The reports claim that Varane wants £400,000 per week in wages. And it's going to be hard for Man United to match this, particularly if you look at the deals for Jadon Sancho and maybe even Kieran Trippier. They're also looking for large sums in salary. So it's an interesting one and situation that Manchester United find themselves in with Raphael Varane. It appears that the player would like to join Manchester United, but of course for the right money. When you're 28 years of age, you're about to sign your probably the last big contract of your career. It will be a 5-year deal. You're a World Cup winner. You're a 4-time Champions League winner. You're going to demand a huge amount of salary. We're seeing this summer already. Some of the, I call it the new age and the new deals, new money deals in football beginning. The likes of the Haalands and the Mbappes. Jadon Sancho is one of these players. How much money these individuals are now asking for. Of course, a player at 28 years of age with still a large percentage of his career ahead of him are going to make these kind of demands. Now, Raphael Varane, for me, is a world-class centre-back. It's something that Manchester United need, and I want the club to consider this as best they can. I think the future, and we are going to get onto that a little bit later on in the show, because we are talking about Martial and him potentially being sold by Manchester United. I think there's an element of me that feels like you can raise the money for him. Phil Jones, maybe Matic leaving, a large amount is going to be raised. But United are going to try and keep some of these deals on ice. They need to work out what's happening with David De Gea, and they need to work out what is happening with Paul Pogba before they really understand the scenario and situation that they're in. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself, via the media, has confirmed that maybe a few players will leave this summer, but the majority of the core group will stay together. So he's probably hoping to not see the likes of Pogba and David De Gea leave this summer. That may make it difficult in terms of wage structure, Manchester United to progress this and move this deal forward. But it is encouraging news from Miguel Delaney this afternoon that Raphael Varane is open to and would like to join Manchester United. It's about Myrtle and Fletcher going away now and getting this deal done. But more importantly, it's about the Glazers sanctioning this deal and it working from a financial standpoint. Those two things have to work very, very well for us to get this done. It could be a major coup. The player is valued at around £80 million, is reportedly available from somewhere between 40 and 50 million pounds, which many would see as an absolute snip. Mike here says Sancho and Varane, but no one else is at a good window. It depends if It depends if Man United lose anybody. So if we keep Paul Pogba, if we keep David De Gea, Martial as well, if we keep those stars and we add Raphael Varane and Sancho, I think Man United have got the squad to have a very good season. The question marks will still overhang on Ollie, but I think the squad to have a good season is most certainly there. Would I like to see some cover at right back come in? Yes. Would I like to see another central midfielder come in? Absolutely. I would. I would like to see that. But if you bring in a world-class player like Varane and an individual with world-class outputs and world-class ability in Jadon Sancho, your squad improves. And if you're not losing anybody, the depth has then just become even better. Rather than, Dan James is nearly always the go-to guy when you need to make a change on the right-hand side. Suddenly you've got, who's going to start on the bench? Is it going to be Rashford? Is it going to be Greenwood? You've got Martial in that position. The strength in depth is suddenly there. The competition for places improves. That's what I would like to see. We have another super chat here from Jay Ling's fan. Long time no see, my friend. He says Sancho has removed Bayern Munich player from his Instagram. That's because the deal is practically done. And you bring us on to a really good point of the show here. This was what was shared a little bit earlier on across social media. This is from a number of outlets here, but Manuel Leith, who is an expert on the Bundesliga, has said that Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is almost complete. It is as close to being a done deal as a done deal can be, okay, in terms of every element of the deal being completed and agreed to. Then they will move on to the legality stage and making sure that all the I's are crossed and the T's are dotted. And yes, I did put them around the wrong way on purpose. So that it still may be there. I think once we get the done deal in terms of the clubs agreeing on a fee, there'll be a holding press announcement from both football clubs. And then you may just see everything else work behind the backgrounds before things can be announced, before you see Jadon Sancho holding the kit. Manchester United and the new sponsors, TeamViewer, are going to, in my opinion, are going to want Jadon Sancho in the new Manchester United kit. I'm not too sure if that deal was even kicked in yet. I'm not sure if that doesn't start until July. So you're in a situation where the new sponsors are not going to want, they're not going to want to see him in the old shirt sponsors. So there's a number of things at play here, which fans don't so much care about, but I think should be aware of happening. But yeah, Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is as close to happening as it could be. It really and truly is. And it's a great sign to see. Manchester United today have made a few concessions. I've made a few concessions on the add-ons. The total price is now up to around 95 million pounds. Sorry, 95 million euros. When you convert that, it's going to be around 82, 83 million pounds. And it's about as close to the 85 million pound prediction that I gave 4 or 5 months ago. I always felt there would be this happy medium between the two football clubs. And that's where it seems to be. We have another super chat that's coming here from my guy, Ginger Fury. He says, do you think Pogba will sign a new contract or leave? Who would you buy to replace him? Look, I actually don't know. I literally don't know whether he's going to sign a new deal or not. I can't make my mind up. Who to replace him? Listen, if it's down to me, it's got to be a player of huge caliber. It has to be a Verratti. It has to be a top class, a Sal Niguez, excellent football players. I don't think you can find someone that's attainable for Man United that's on Paul Pogba's level in terms of his play, his ability, his athleticism, his vision. It's almost impossible to replace him. He's one of the best football players in the world, the best central midfielder in the world. It's almost impossible to replace him like for like. So what you need to do is invest that money correctly. Maybe you go in a slightly different direction and you focus that money, that time and that attention on a CDM and building a really great block and base and protection for the back line. So you don't need to necessarily replace like for like player. It could be a different type of central midfielder to build your team around. But what I would love to see, if he does go and we raise 50, 60, 70 million, I want to see the Glazers put their hand in their pocket and ensure that they put their hand in their pocket and ensure that the money is spent on the players as opposed to being pocketed by them. That's what I would like to see. In all honesty, that's what needs to happen, in my opinion. There. So I'm just updating a few different bits and pieces here. That's done. But Neeks backstage, KJ joining me very, very soon as well. We're going to be a little bit of a debate. We are going to be, as I said, picking the England team ahead of the Germany game a little bit later on in the show today. So make sure you stay with the Football Terrace. But I also want to talk about who Man United should sell. And I want your thoughts and feelings on this as well. Who do you think they should sell? Who do you think will go? I want your thoughts and feelings on this as viewers of the Football Terrace this afternoon, because that's really up in the air right now. Legitimately up in the air. It's a difficult one to kind of work out. And there's been many rumors about this for a long time now. Anthony Martial's name has reared its head again today. I'm seeing more and more of this. And I've just had a text message as well, actually. I've had a text message about Jadon Sancho. And I'm not going to say what it says because I haven't got permission. I'm going to go back and ask. But I need to reply with, yes, you did, mate. I'm wrong, though. It appears that Jadon Sancho to Man United is going to be complete, and it's going to be for about £80 million, which is the ceiling that Manchester United wanted. I've just been told it's practically done. It is done. There we go. Here we go at any moment. Here we go at any moment on Jadon Sancho. Jem says it's a done deal. It is. And do you know what's mad about it, right? Do you know why I really want to see the tweet? It'll be a tweet or an update about it, because do you know what it will be? It will just be a just be nice. It'll be relaxing. You know, like you've been stuck in the car for like an hour and you really need to go to the toilet, and it gets frustrating. You start getting angry. You got to go to the bathroom, right? And you get to go in there. You get the release. You're just like, is that release? That's how it's going to feel, I think. So very excited about that indeed. Anthony Martial, though, expected to leave Manchester United this summer. I want people's thoughts and feelings on that. We are going to open up the lines for you to come and talk to the panel. Terry, why does Sancho want to play for Man United? Because he is an ambitious player. We're one of the biggest clubs in the world. We've got one of the best squads in the Premier League. That badge holds a lot of weight. And listen, I'm going to say it. I'm going to wait to see Neeks and KJ's head rise when I say this, but maybe he just wants to play for Ollie. Maybe he loves Ollie's systems. Maybe he loves Ollie's tactics. Maybe he loves Ollie's man management. Maybe he loves the way that Ollie has treated people, all the great things people say about him. Maybe he wants to play Ollie ball. Maybe Jadon Sancho knows a little bit more about it than I do, because I don't think Ollie's a good enough manager. But Jadon Sancho seems to think that he is. Jadon Sancho is willing to commit 5 to 6 years of his life to playing for Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Paul Pogba is seemingly willing to sign a new deal and play for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Rashford loves him. Bruno loves him. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong. Maybe I am wrong about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. All these star players want to play for him, but yet I think he's average or not very good. There we go. But there we go. That's my thought. That's my feelings on it now. Tweet just been released now by Fabrizio Romano saying official Kieran Tierney has signed a new 5-year deal at Arsenal. Next steps will be to extend Emil Smith-Rowe's contract until June 2026. And the Gunners will want to get that done quickly. The Gunners will want to get Emil Smith-Rowe tied down fast, mate. I'm talking tied down like a sex game, bro. They want him strapped. They want him strapped. Because people are circling for him. So you need to get that done and dusted and over the lines. I'm going to bring KJ on. I'm going to bring Neeks on. I want to discuss these transfers in a bit more detail and then have a bit of debate about who could leave Manchester United. But I do need your support right now. Smash that like button for us, please, ladies and gentlemen. KJ's here. Neeks is here. How you doing, gents?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It's Friday, as Rebecca Back says, and hopefully Jadon Sancho gets done.
You did not just reference Rebecca Black.
It's Friday, Friday.
My Lord, I haven't heard that song in ages, and I'm glad I didn't. Why are you bringing back the PTSD, my guy?
I don't know how that went viral. What a trash song that was.
What a terrible song. But you know what isn't trash? And he's going viral. Jadon Sancho news.
Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho.
Finally, bruv.
I know. It's nice that it's pretty much there, but we kind of the thing was, KJ, I know we speak a lot behind the scenes. I've been telling you all this summer, like, relax. Just because my world's changed in this last year, and I just knew this one particular deal was just like, relax, everyone, chill out, just like, it's gonna happen. It was over the line. £80 million as well, Neeks. £80 million.
But that's what we wanted to pay last year, wasn't it? I think 80 million was the max we wanted to go up to, which obviously was like 30 million lower than what Borussia Dortmund wanted. It was 108 million they wanted pounds. So I guess Ed Woodward will go back to his bosses and say, "See, guys, I got it done. I told you I'd get it for 80 million," not realizing that it was a year later. But better to have him a year later than not at all, innit? And I think 80 million, like yesterday, shout out Igao, innit? I don't want to pull him up, but yesterday he said 50 million might prove to be a snip for Kieran Tierney. 80 million for Jadon Sancho is very, very likely to be a bargain. Very, very likely, because he is a generational talent without a shadow of a doubt. And if he produces the numbers that he did for Dortmund, for Man United, then he paid back that 80 million in about 2 years, and everything else above that is surplus.
And that's, I don't think people can argue with it. And listen, I know we all wanted a deal done last year. Would I have been prepared for the club a year ago to pay 100 million, 110 million? I wanted us to do that. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. We didn't, but I then hypocrisized myself, and I have to be honest here. I've also said for years that we shouldn't pay above what we think is a valuation of the price of a player. So if the club doesn't see him as being worth more than, say, 80 million, then my wants should mean very little. We all cried our eyes out that we paid above the odds for Maguire, but yet last year we were happy to pay above the odds for Jadon Sancho. It's almost, for me, I feel with fans, like, I know it's hard because we're human beings, but there's an element of for us to try and be more consistent in the way we view things. But I'm just glad that it's done it over the line. One of the other deals, maybe a player leaving, KJ, Anthony Martial. Of course, Dean Jones brought that to the table on the 18th of June, so last week, and we sort of discussed that in quite a bit of detail. It's today reared its head again. I think the Mirror and a few other publications are speaking about Anthony Martial being not transfer listed, but being available for transfer by Manchester United this summer. Do you think that looks likely? And it looks like a likely exit from Man United?
I don't know. I think it all depends on how hard Martial pushes for a move out. I can see clubs being interested in Martial, but not willing to pay the asking price. Because I can see Man United asking for 50 million for Martial. I can't see them going for like anything less than that. So are clubs really want to pay that amount of money after the season he's had? I'm not too sure. And if Martial says he wants to stay and fight for his place, then he ain't going nowhere, in my opinion. Even if he's available or not, I don't think he's going to go nowhere. So yeah, I think it all depends on Martial, how much he wants it. But I personally don't want him to leave personally. I know a lot of people are done with him, don't want to see him gone, whatever. But I don't want to see him go. I feel like there's still an asset in Martial that we can use, whether it is left wing or striker. There's still someone we can use who's very flexible, who's very talented. And on his day, he's unstoppable. On his day, he's unstoppable. We've seen it many times where he decides to be the player that he can be. Now, the question is that mentality of switching it on and off something that Man United can afford to have in multiple players? You know what I mean? You can say that about many players at Man United. Is that something we can afford to have? I don't know. But I personally don't want to see him go. And if he does leave, I don't want it to be seen. I don't want to see him go to anyone in the Premier League. It has to be abroad to someone else, because it would hurt me.
The problem with Martial, and I say him in terms of whether we're going to sell him or not, the fee is one thing, and I think 25 years old, he would have been in the France squad if not for injury. That was confirmed by Didier Deschamps. 25 years old. He's got potentially 10 years left in him at a top level, depending on how he takes care of his body and how his career goes. 50 million is a snip for someone of his talent. Is an absolute snip. And he's on what? 200 and maybe 190, 200,000 pound a week. That's the big issue. Because I think some of them out there might be willing to pay the 50 because they know he's got the talent.
Yeah.
But are they willing to also take on those wages? Now, as you said, KJ, we spoke about it for months now. I don't want to sell him because we wanted Sancho last year, and we weren't talking about selling Martial last season. So we obviously wanted Sancho to add to what we got, including Martial. So if we sell Martial, now we have to go replace him. Sancho is not Martial's replacement because we wanted him last year to go with Martial. So now we've got another piece of business to potentially go and replace Martial. Then you have to potentially replace Paul Pogba. Then you got all the other positions that we're already speaking about. We're just actually selling. We're actually creating more work for ourselves.
More problems, yeah.
This summer.
I think one thing, though, we might be forgetting with Anthony Martial is this number 9 thing. Not the shirt, the position. He wanted that desperately. He wanted to be the number 9. I think if the jury was out, even with Martial's, you saw it. Do you remember when the game kicked off, Man United versus Tottenham? I don't know if you guys remember the kind of Martial FC across socials were very much, they were digging into Cavani like, oh, why is everyone hyping him? He doesn't really bring too much. And it was from that game onwards, he just sort of, it was like he found his feet, he found his legs, his fitness clicked into gear, and he just became this striker that we've been desperate for since RVP. And I think even with the most heartened, dedicated Martial FC fan, they realized, yeah, do you know what? In terms of elite number 9s, maybe Anthony Martial's never going to be that. Yeah. I see him personally as a better inside forward. He's a great dribbler. I think he can be brilliant in front of goal. I'm like you guys. I don't want to see him leave. But there is this element of Cavani's now in front of him in that number 9 role. We're also looking next summer at signing another number 9. Maybe it's Anthony Martial that we need to respect here and say, do you know what? You want to go and be the number 9 somewhere else? We'll allow you to leave. I don't. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah. It'll be his future rests in his hands in the sense that if he's like, I'm adamant, I'm going to be a number. I have to play on as a number 9. Then, we're gonna have to try and move him on. But again, we're paying the right price. But I hope that he's willing to be a part of the forward line, which means that you may play majority of games on the left, but at times we're gonna need you to play up front. Cavani is not gonna play every game, and Greenwood. I don't think it's gonna be only Cavani or Greenwood through the middle. Greenwood barely played through the middle last season. Anyway, a lot of time was out wide. So
it's only until towards the end of the season that he started to get some.
Yeah, exactly. So I think obviously Martial, it really rests with him. But you look at Man City, we've been speaking about them today, and look at the riches of talent they have in their forward line. Aguero Jesus couldn't even get off the bench last season. Sterling, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden. That's 6 players for 3 positions. Martial or somebody has to be willing to be rotated as 5 or 6 players for those 3 positions. We can't be going into a season with 3 or 4 for those 3 positions, especially as Rashford is talking about surgery. How long is it going to take to recover from that? Like, we can't. I don't think we can afford to sell Martial this summer unless we're lined up for him. That's not Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, and that point of Rashford's injury and how injury prone. I don't say he's been injury prone, but how much he's been battling through injury, Rashford. If Martial stays, you could say to him, look, first 2 months of the season, you're number 1, number 9, because Marcus needs a rest. He said in an interview, he said he might get an operation, he might not, depends how he feels about it, whatever it is. But either way, the boy will need a rest. Selling Martial now to play Dan James on the left-hand side, for me, it's not worth it. There's literally just no point in doing that. I'd rather keep Martial to do that and then see how he progresses, because if he pushes on, what is there from stopping him from pushing a Rashford out of the team or even Cavani out of the team? Like, if he returns back into the number 9 and he's learned from, reflected on the season and learned from Cavani and changes his game up slightly to make him more consistent, then that saves Man United money again on buying a striker. If you want a top end striker, you might already get one with Martial. You might already had another one coming through with Greenwood. So a lot of it sounds mad, but a lot of Man United's future prospects going forward, in terms of the attacking positions, does actually rely on Martial. What are we going to do with him? Is he going to stay and progress, or is he going to leave and we're going to have to fill that gap? It's a very interesting predicament to be in for Man United, and I don't think it's a bad one either. It's not a bad one to have.
Yeah, I just want to. Sorry, I want to interject here. I know we're talking about this. Firstly, Jem has now joined us. Hello, mate. But I want to just share this information that's come from Jan Fjortov, someone that I really trust in relation to this Jadon Sancho deal this whole time, and he's said Man United have won this battle hands down. So Jan Fjortov has been tweeting for weeks, 95 million euros plus add-ons. That has been his rhetoric the whole way, pretty similar to that of Fabrizio Romano. Jan Fjortov has now said that all parties are confident that the deal will be done. Man United's second offer was 85 million euros. Dortmund want 90 plus add-ons. It seems like a compromise has been made. 90 million fixed euros this is, no add-ons. So that equates to Man United actually picking Jadon Sancho up for 77 million pounds. That's even cheaper than, honestly, I thought it's going to end up going to about 85 million pounds. But if they pick him up for 77, that is excellent work by Myrtle, excellent work by Fletcher to get it done at such a great price. And do you know what? I just think this is about having football men involved or women. Doesn't really matter which. But people that I think this summer, the likes of Fletcher and Myrtle have had conversations with Dortmund, and there's just been more of a mutual respect between the boards or the individuals involved in these conversations. They understand the game. They speak to each other on a level. There's a realization. There's respect. It's been done in a timely matter. We haven't leaked too much. Like last year, the whole United are going to wait until so-and-so. We don't care about deadlines. All that arrogance just seemed to have disappeared. And there's one person who doesn't seem to have been involved in terms of person-to-person relations here, and that's Woodward. So 77 million pounds, if what Jan Fjortov says is true, is an absolute steal for Jadon Sancho. Super chat here says Chelsea can use Martial. He will be a good fit, is what Eric has got to say.
Agreed.
I want to get your take on Jadon Sancho to Man United. The deal looks all set to be done. The here we go is very, very close to happening indeed. 77 million pound deal. Give me your thoughts, Jem.
Well done, Manchester United. I mean, at least it ends the saga of Terry having to do any more Sancho's transfer saga news, isn't it? He's finally got it.
Wait, no. What are you talking about, Jem?
Listen,
Terry's
finished. Going to be a lot more upbeat. This is why I've come on here. I've got KJ in the corner sitting there with his face like, come on, man. You don't have to worry about Chelsea coming and stealing Sancho off you anymore. He's going to be holding that shirt soon. Be happy.
Yeah, Jem.
I'm
you know, that's why I am like, it's a good signing, but Jem, when you've been wanting a signing for 2 years and the negotiations have been dragged on, you've getting updated every single time someone sneezes in the boardroom, like it gets long, it gets boring, and the excitement gets sucked out. So I will be the most gassed I will be when they do the announcement video, because I know it's gonna be sick. But for now, I know what's happening.
Yeah, but I keep saying to people though, we've got to stop being dragged into all that stuff. The amount I know I've covered it a lot, but if I don't listen to my detractors on this, listen to what I've said in 95% of the videos. This isn't new news. Nothing's changed. Relax. That's literally the point. Like for me, and I do that on purpose because I see it. There's a guy I follow, he's a Man United fan, and he listens to every report like it's like God has come from the clouds and gone, this is the new, like, it's like it's God's told him. It's like, bruv, like, why'd you react to everything like it's real? Just be like, oh, that doesn't sound right. This doesn't sound too good. 2 days ago, they said Man United didn't have the money. Like that was true. Yeah. It's calmed down a little bit, there's no doubt. But it's a really good deal. In terms of Anthony Martial leaving, Jim, you were shaking your head there at this super chat from Eric that said Chelsea could use Martial. You're after a striker, Anthony Martial to Chelsea. Would you take it?
No, because I don't even know what Martial is. What is he? Who is he? What tell me. He's the man, because when I watch him, I struggle to understand what his strengths are. I know he's good with the ball at his feet, but what is his actual position? What's his position?
He's a forward. That's the only way to describe him.
Is he really?
No. He's a forward though.
Not a striker.
I don't think he's a striker. He hasn't.
He's not a striker. You can again, you can argue what a striker is, false nines, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like,
in the true sense of the word, Martial's not a striker in the sense because your striker is supposed to be your main goal scorer, and I don't think he's proved that he can do that on a consistent basis. He's generally good in front of goal, but there's other things that you need to, as well as that. You need your movement, your anticipation, which I don't think he has. But if he gets into the position, generally, last season was terrible, but generally he's very cool in front of goal. But it's like you can have some people who are great with their movement. They're always in the right position, but their finishing is terrible. Or you get people who their finishing is brilliant, but they don't get it. They're never there. They're never where they need to be. And I think Martial's is brilliant when the ball's at his feet, but he's not where he needs to be.
Yeah, it's off the ball. Like his off the ball work is his probably weakest attribute. And again, it's not saying
it's not what Chelsea need, is it? What are Chelsea going to do? But we need a striker. We don't need another potential Werner. That's why he's inconsistent. He's inconsistent, isn't he?
And doesn't finish, and Martial finishes but doesn't move.
Yeah, so he fused them into one.
That's very, very true. It's yeah. I mean, I always remember having this conversation. Neek to remember this with Have Hope in the UFF studios back in the day, where I spoke about Martial's lack of movement. And whenever you say lack of movement or running isn't good enough, people go, not everyone has to track back. It's like, I'm not talking about tracking back. It's those progressive runs. It's Kylian Mbappe. His finishing is amazing. His skill is exemplary. But what he's brilliant at is making the right runs at the right times. His movements, his little shimmies and shoulders, his little drops. Those things go unnoticed because the cameras rarely look at them. And there's one thing that the younger generation will never get to use, which I did as a kid. Sky Sports used to do player cam. And KJ remember this. So you used to be able to watch, there'd be a camera that just followed one player around, and every sort of 20 minutes in the game, they'd switch it. So every now and then it would be a striker. It'd be like Andy Cole today, or it would be Thierry Henry. And I'd sometimes just watch it on player cam, and you'd watch their movement. And sometimes it was movement. The ball would be in the other team's box, and it'd be the way I, jog towards the touchline. Then make a little darting run one way, then jog somewhere else. And it was all premeditated to ensure that they were in the right position to pounce when the attack started, to try and drag a defender out of position, create extra space for themselves. Martial's too static in those areas for me. And this is the thing with eye test. The eye test only works when the camera's on the player on the ball, right? What you don't see with the eye test via television is what someone is doing off the ball, because the cameras don't focus on it. And it's those areas where, for me, Anthony Martial needs to improve on. But it's not even an attack on him.
No, it's just
he's just not part of his game. That's why I like him as an inside forward with the ball at his feet, running at a fullback. He's the best player Man United have got at doing that. The question's going to be around selling him. It's going to be a case of, for me, I'll go back to what I said earlier. Does he want to stay? If he wants to be the number 9, I think Ollie will look to sell him, because I think it's been proven that we need a better number 9 than him. Cavani's in front of him this season. You've got Greenwood that needs to be developed as well. So, when does that start happening? Everybody's screaming for Greenwood to go central. We're going to have Sancho, and I know people are saying he's best on the left, but he's coming in for the right-hand side. You've got Ahmad, who's going to be developed. We want him to get game time in his preferred positions, which is wide. So at some point, Greenwood's going to have to come central. So I just think the writing's on the wall for Martial, not because I don't think he's talented, but I just think with the new young players that we've got, the fact that his ability to move the number 9 isn't where we need it to be. It just feels like the writing there is on the wall. Raphael Varane is another deal today, which again it keeps being discussed and spoken about, and the amount of journalists now. Dortmund's United man doesn't like trophies. We'll see, Billy. We'll see if the trophies come. But the reports today are suggesting that Raphael Varane would like to join Manchester United. I'd like to go to Neeks first on this. Are you starting to become more hopeful this deal is a genuine possibility, or does it still feel like maybe Man United are being used?
I'm always fearful about Man United being used, but it's never stopped me getting excited about a player in the past. So I'm not going to stop now. Like, it is what it is, isn't it? I can't control it. I can control my emotions. I can sit back and say, oh, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And then it happens and I'm excited. But we have to have a brilliant transfer window this summer. So I'm optimistic that we're going to have a brilliant transfer window this summer. And a brilliant transfer window would include someone like a Varane. And I think it was being said earlier on by a few of your guests on the previous shows. If City were to go and get Grealish and Kane, and Chelsea were to get a Haaland, Varane is a must. Varane is like, because them two they will put themselves in a position like, we are going to win the league. Of course, only one team can win it, but they are putting their mark down. We're going to win the league. If we go out and get Sancho and a world-class centre-back, a patient in the name word of Jem, we can play a high line with a pace in behind, and that is a statement. That's a statement. Now, we may not win the league, but it's a statement to say we've come to win. We might not win. We may not be good enough in the end, but we can't go in with Lindelof and Maguire and anyone take it seriously. Hey, no, I wouldn't take us seriously. We have to get him, man.
Yeah, does that not also show that they're doing something that users, United fans, potentially thought that your board wouldn't do? Back Ollie, because them bringing Sancho in, them going to get a Varane, them going to buy maybe a central midfielder. I don't know. Let's just say you get 3 or 4 players and they bring him in. Does that not show that they're showing back into him?
Yeah, what I'll say is we've been there. Here's the thing, though, we can't fully get into that mode yet because we've been here before. We saw that, we're going to get Sergio Milinkovic-Savic and Perisic for Mourinho. You know what I mean? We saw that we was going to get X-player for Van Gaal. We were getting Thiago Alcantara. We were getting Cruz.
Fabregas.
So we've seen the club,
I get that.
The managers. So we have to wait. I thought if you said,
that's my question.
Yeah, that's the question there.
Was it if we do?
I'll just bring that round a sec, KJ. So I mean, if we bring in Varane and Sancho and a good CDM, to Josh's point, he says world-class CDM, but say we bring in a good CDM that we all rate, what would your reaction to that be, KJ, from a backing the manager point of view?
I'll be happy. I'll be happy that they're backing the manager. I'll be happy that it clearly shows that we're going in a different direction. And I would chalk that mostly up to Fletcher and Murta, because they would be the real difference makers in the whole thing. Because before that, Ali got let down. Previous manager got let down before that structure came in. So I'd be more receptive and pretty much be ready to say, these two men here are taking us forward. It will be a positive step and a good step. And I'll be very pleased with that. And Darren Fletcher and Murta will be starting to show that they're here for business and they're not here for PR just to make out like we are trying to do something.
Yeah. And Neeks, how about yourself? I mean, I know how scathing you've been at the Glazers. Is this, I get it's down, I get KJ's point, it's down to Myrtle and Fletcher, but of course they've allowed those appointments to go ahead. Is this a good sign of things to come, or is it very much a case of, one swallow does not a summer make?
If we have the window that what Jem suggested and the guy mentioned in the member chat, I would say it's definitely a change in direction, in the sense that in the past, generally we haven't even qualified 2 years in a row, definitely not through the league anyway, for Champions League. Generally, we'll qualify once, they don't really back, we fall out, they back. Whereas Ollie, by qualifying twice and improving the league, somewhat maybe forced their hand. Well, look, I did it. You didn't back me. I did it again. Now you have to back me. Now, however they got to that position, whether it was by force, by the protest, all those kind of stuff, if they get to the position where, all right, they have backed to go that step further, which is not qualifying for Champions League again, but it's actually going to win the league, then I can only give it credit. It doesn't mean all is forgiven, and no, you don't have to sell the club or anything like that, because we know what their true intention is. But I could not come out and say at the start of the season, Ollie has not been backed to go and win the league or to take the next step forward, which is a challenge for the major honours. So you have to credit those for either seeing their errors or being willing, whatever the reason, willing to change their ways for the good of the club, even if it wouldn't be their intention. If we didn't riot or protest, if Solskjaer wasn't maybe as demanding to the board, if there wasn't all the outside voices, the Gary Nevilles, etc., they probably would never have changed because they don't really care. But they have maybe succumbed to that pressure, and I'll be happy with that.
Yeah,
I don't know if I could ever.
On top of that as well, you have this situation of Ollie, and publicly, there's been almost zero dissatisfaction shown towards the owners. It's all been very professional. It's all been very respectful towards the Glazers and the owners and the board. And maybe that's going to start to pay. Maybe that's going to pay dividends this summer. That's the hope. Maybe it's going to pay dividends. And they look at it and say, do you know what? He's continued to work hard. He's been due diligent. He's been professional. He's given us advice, and we've made changes, and we've seen those improvements. Maybe it's almost his reward for behaving in a way that they want him to. And I've always said, I'm not a fan of the Glazers, and I don't think I ever will be, but they do own the football club. And sometimes it's, making the best of a bad situation is, I think, what we need a manager to come in and do. I understand this fan theory thought of, we just need a manager to stand up and tell the world how bad the Glazers are. That's great for a day. We all cheer, we all sing, we all celebrate. You're in the mud, Glazers. What happens the day after that? No, they're still going to be here. So there's no mileage in it. It's one of those things which is, it's a virtue signaler move. It's virtue signaling. Yeah. It will make you feel good in the short term, but will it actually change anything? No. So I think fingers crossed.
It would actually go. Things would actually get worse.
Stops anybody having any excuses for Ollie. If we keep the majority of this squad, if we add these two players we're linked to in Sancho and Raphael Varane, and maybe a midfielder in there as well, there is no more excuses for Ollie not to be legitimately challenging for a title, being competitive in the Champions League, and looking towards winning trophies. And I think that's the debate. That if we pull this off by the end of next season, that debate ends. There's no more to be said on that matter at all.
It's not an excuse, but do you think that there's potential that he might end up falling down the same route as what happened to Frank Lampard at Chelsea, that he gets given? Let's just say he gets a Varane. Let's say he gets a Sancho. Let's say he gets a decent CDM as well. Do you just worry that his tactics alone might not get the best out of these individuals going into next season, and you might find yourself halfway through a season with him out the door?
No, I don't think he'll be like. So I don't think he'll be as bad as Lampard. I'll say that now. I don't think he will be as bad as Lampard if he gets all these players, because it's been a steady growth into the squad, whereas Lampard literally had one squad and it was a boom. He's like 6-8 new players. Like, you deal with it, and I feel that's a bit too much for him. I don't think he'll be as bad, but I do feel like he will get the best out of some players, but I don't know if that would be enough to compete with the other teams in front of him. And then from there, that's where the question comes: should we get rid of him for someone who's better?
But it's win-win. Sorry, Nick, it's win-win, because if we have the squad and he isn't good enough, they sack him. We bring in a better manager who has an excellent squad. If he's good enough and he achieves what everyone demands of him, then there will still be a few angry people that the person they thought isn't good enough has achieved. But it's either we achieve with Ollie or we don't, and we then bring a new manager in that's better with a brilliant squad. I'd rather that than we don't sign any stars this summer, and then we sack Ollie anyway, and the new manager still needs new players. For me, the reason that Tuchel won Champions League is because you backed Frank in the summer. If you hadn't have bought Frank all those players, and you maybe signed Werner and Chilwell and maybe just Mendy, maybe there wouldn't have been the squad for even Tuchel to have won something with. So you have to look at these scenarios in that way. We're going to go to some calls now to bring some people on. Man Like Sunshine's backstage. I want to bring on to have a chat with us as well now. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, what's good, man?
You good, bro?
Hey, my guy.
Yeah, we got KJ, man. We got Neeks. We got the Chelsea brother. Chelsea. Yeah, man. I just think it's just a couple of things. Obviously, my internet. I'm in a rural area. I just finished gym, so I don't want it to cut off and mess up your show. But I just want to quickly get in the fact that I'm talking about Martial, and if he does choose to play on the left, he may have a future there, and I fully agree with that. And I think if you look at the actual lineup for Dan James, you'd have two players for each position in that respect. So you'd have a Rashford, Martial on the left, which is great depth. Cavani, I know Greenwood hasn't played central, but he's obviously going to work into playing as a striker role anyway. So ultimately, Cavani, Greenwood, striker, and then of course on the right wing, Ahmad and Sancho is not a bad set two forwards. And I think every strong team, especially the level of United, or shall we say the club that we know and love, requires that amount of depth. So I'll be honest, out of those forward players, Dan James is the only one I think that will get shipped. And I do understand that not many will be in for him, but if you can make 15 million back off him, we'll get him out on loan. Because ultimately, we need strength, and I believe Ahmad could make up for Dan James's pace and hard work. I genuinely believe that on the right. So with the greatest respect to most United fans out there, getting rid of Martial, we're looking to build, and keeping Martial, in my opinion, is the most important thing.
Yeah, look, I'd love to keep him. I really would. As I've said already, I think it will be down to Martial. I think if Martial wants to be that central striker and that isn't the position that's going to be made available to him, Cavani's number one and we're developing Greenwood, I think he might go. But listen, Rashford, as you say, Rashford and Martial on the left, Ahmad and Sancho on the right-hand side, and with the ability for those four to interchange with each other. No, maybe I haven't thought about it. No one's got that quality of inside forwards in the Premier League. Then it becomes.
I'm telling you, when the Sancho deal comes through,
in those four roles, you know, you've got youth, you've got a bit of experience, you've got skill, you've got speed, creators, goal scorers. It'd be sensational. It really, really would.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when that Sancho deal goes through, and if we keep Martial, in terms of strike force, the only one that can really chat to us is Man City, and even then, it wouldn't be as strong of us in terms of attackers. They have the better midfielders and better defense, yeah, cool, whatever, and the better coach, yeah. But in terms of as a six attackers for the 3-4 positions, Man United will probably have one of the best, if not potentially the best, in Europe as a six.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
As a six, I'm not, as a three, you've got all different front threes. But chat to me about Liverpool's six. Who are their six?
Nah. And I think as well with Sancho, a lot of people. Sorry, Nick. Go on, bro.
Go. No, go.
No, I was just going to add quickly. Just saying with Sancho, we forget that he can play a cam role as well. In terms of because of the way he actually plays football, he's a creator. So anywhere in front of the box, his link-up play would be absolutely outstanding. So that's it a push. Do you know what I mean? That's it a push. If you needed someone to come in for Bruno, or you want Bruno sitting deeper, you can actually play Sancho in a cam role and actually dictate in terms of link-up play, 1-2 touches and movements in tight little areas, especially against low blocks. So you've got there's a lot of opportunity there just having Sancho in, because you've got a left wing, a cam, and a right wing pretty much set up no matter what. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a massive signing for United once it comes through, and you know, hopefully Ollie does get back with the signings with Varane, and 100%. I mean, I want Renato Sanchez. I think he would be sick next to Pogba, but that's another conversation for another day.
I hear you. Listen, Sunshine, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, big up the panel, man.
We're going to get on the show next. We're going to get Chelsea fan on next. We're going to go to this view. It's easier for calls, actually, than the other way around. Please make sure you're smashing that like button for us, please. Let's get this to 500 likes minimum while we're on the air. If you haven't subscribed yet or followed our Twitch account, the link for that is inside the description below. The news this afternoon is, though, the done deal is very, very close. The here we go is very, very close, as said by Fabrizio Romano. Manchester United, according to Jan Fjørtoft, are close to agreeing a £77 million deal. It looks like Myrtle and Fletcher have negotiated the price down to a level that United are happy with. The compromise seems to be there, and that is done. Remember, £120 million they wanted originally. Huge amount of money saved by the football club, but it's now time to get this deal done and get him on the pitch. In other news today, Miguel Delaney has stated again that Manchester United are interested in Raphael Varane, and he would like to join from Real Madrid this summer. Huge wage demands of over £400,000 per week. Is that something you as a United fan think should be sanctioned? I want your views and I want your opinions on that. We are going to be a little bit later. Going to be picking the England team against Germany. We want to get that done. We want to get that picked. We want to get that in. We want your thoughts and feelings. So stay with us for that. Before that, though, we're going to go to Ziad. Ziad is a Chelsea fan. And Ziad, I want to know your thoughts. Man United close to landing Sancho. Raphael Varane potentially in the pipeline. Give me your thoughts.
Afternoon, all. Yeah, I think this is big for Manchester United, and I think mainly Oli. I think next season is a make or break for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he's got his play. Well, it looks he's got his Sancho, could get Varane, could get other targets. So now he's got a very good squad, very good squad. And if he doesn't achieve next season, and I'm not talking top four, for me that's a standard. That's Man United standard. If he doesn't leave end of the season with at least a major trophy, he's got to be gone because right now with the signings that United look like they're getting, that squad is too good for keep flopping in the Europa League, keep just like. Yeah, top four, but I'm like it's not good enough for Man United, and especially with the new squad, you have to challenge now. It's challenging for the league, even though it's going to be hard with City looking to make big signings, maybe Chelsea soon. So I think it's a big season for United. Also because if they don't if Oli doesn't do well and then he gets sacked, you said it, Terry. You've got a good squad now, so you can bring in a manager. Like Zidane, maybe. Zidane would probably would like to join Man United with this kind of squad, and he could take you to different kind of levels. So I think it's a big season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And with Sancho as a personal Chelsea fan, I really like him as a player. Would I have liked him at Chelsea 100%? But there was too many sacrifices we would have had made to get rid of 2 or 3 wingers to sacrifice for him. So in that circumstance, it's a great signing for Man United, and yeah, we'll see how it's going to be interesting how Oli deals with all this.
Absolutely, yeah, great call, mate. Thank you for coming on and having your say, top man. I think the expectations of winning trophies, I think we've all alluded to, that needs to happen. There's no doubt about it. So, a few comments here. I want to go to Sadiq Rahman says, "What does close actually mean?" Well, close in the context of what Fabrizio and more so Jan Fjortov have mentioned is the clubs are close to agreeing to the fee. Once the fee is agreed, everything else is very quick after that normally. But with the Euros being on, there's probably going to be a delay. I haven't actually checked. I assume it's going to be 1st of July. It normally is when Man United's new sponsor, TeamViewer, comes in, the new kits. I don't even know what the new date for the new kit release is. I'm pretty sure Man United want to do it with him holding that shirt as opposed to holding another one. That's the commercial side of football, which just exists. So close is very much at the moment in the context of Jadon Sancho is the fee between the two clubs being agreed. £77 million is a snip as well, by the way. J-Lings fam says, have you heard about Lingard's new contract? I haven't actually heard anything additional. I know that there is the possibility. Essentially, what I heard is if he stays at Man United, they will offer him a new deal. That, for me, is to protect asset. That's to protect an asset more than anything else. But that's what I've heard. Silver Spring, long time no see, Silver Spring. Hope you're well. Says Terry, have you heard anything about Liverpool signing any attackers? Honestly, no. McGinn, I've heard about John McGinn coming in. I did read an article on the Anfield Central about them having a clean run at Kylian Mbappe if Real Madrid get Haaland. But I'm not even trying to laugh, bro. Like Liverpool, they keep it all very quiet anyway. There's almost no news about Liverpool all the time. If you want to phone in and have your say, we're going to share the link now in the comment section. But we are going to pick the England team very soon as well for the game against Germany, which is going to be here before you know it because all the European games kick off again from tomorrow.
I just wanted to say,
DJ here says, Blue Moon, you need to relax yourself, man. Okay, I actually thought it was going to be a question here.
Yeah, no, he's
arguing each other, and I put it up on the screen. There we go. Eve Basuma says Callum Hudson-Odoi over Sancho. Let me ask you that question, Jem. Who's better in your opinion, Cho or Sancho?
Why are we doing asking that? Look, Sancho, isn't it? Sancho is proven. His outputs are there. Callum Hudson-Odoi's outputs are not there. Yes, people can moan that he doesn't get given the time on the pitch to prove that. Other Chelsea fans go as far to say that we have our own Sancho. We don't need Sancho because we have a Sancho. For me, no way in hell. Sancho's levels above Cho at the moment. Not to say that in the future he could potentially hit that, but you can't. It's like comparing chalk and cheese, man. Can't be done.
There was a comment earlier from Slens He's asking, well, kind of what's happening with Ollie's contract. It's been no news. Now, obviously, if we had won the Europa League, I think he would have got that contract like the next day. It would have been announced. But and I think that we even said at the time, it's all PR. It's about when they're gonna do it. And I feel like if they get a couple of signings through the door, then they would announce Ollie's contract because they know that. All right, there's gonna be a few people saying X, Y, Z, but it's gonna be overshadowed by the joy of either signing a Sancho.
They're gonna slip it in there. They're gonna have like on the Twitter feed. You're gonna have announcement video, interview, announcement video, interviews, replays, and then just Ollie starts to do contract. Just like slips in there, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But do you know what? It's smart doing that. It's a bit like, you know what I mean? You know, if you want to get a night out with the boys, right? But you and the missus been fighting. Like, the best time to slip in, you're going out with the boys, is when you just, you know, I got my bonus at work. I bought a nice takeaway. There's a bottle of champagne. There's a present for you. There's some flowers. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm going outside now with the boys. You slip it in that way. You slip it in and you get, I'm happy. So, yes, absolutely. Josh's question here says, who would a realistic CDM option be for the panel, considering if we land Varane and Sancho? Neeks, who would be your go-to from that point?
I mean, you see, he said realistic, didn't he? Because I would want Ndidi, but again, you have to be realistic. They're gonna want like 80 million for him, which we're not gonna do unless we sell Pogba, and then that creates its own issues. Basuma's an option, and Declan Rice is an option. I mean, honestly, the world-class defensive midfielders aren't available. The world-class ones, they're just not. Casemiro's not available. Fabinho is not available. You know, I would take him. Who?
Kante's not available, isn't it? It's at Chelsea as well.
I can't remember who that is. Anyway,
Pogba's backup dancer in the front.
Oh, him! Oh, the forward side, the short one. Yeah. He's not available either. No, but like I was saying some months ago, if we were to sell Pogba, I would want Verratti. I would want Verratti. Now he's not a certified DM. They play like Marquinhos there at times for PSG, but in a pivot or whatever formation we play in that midfield, he would be absolutely brilliant. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But there's a lot of options, but I would say none of them are world class. But the ones that I mentioned, I think they could do a good job for us.
I think
that's a really important point there. You pull on. If they're not, if the one or two targets that we truly want are not available, don't sign anyone. And this is what I talk about why fans remaining integral. We moaned about signing third, fourth, fifth, sixth choice players for years. We said it was a waste of money. We're now looking like we're acting more in the mold of, well, Bruno's our number one choice. Can't get him this summer. We wait till Jan. Can't get him in Jan. We'll wait till the following summer. And that seems to trigger people because we're not filling the holes as quickly as they want to be filled. What do you think the approach should be there, KJ? Bring in a body or wait for the right person, even if it's an extra year or two?
I think we should bring in Hasbullah Zerkov. I have no idea who he is. I've just made a name up, but I am basically saying I actually don't mind anyone for the DM role. Like literally, everyone's complaining about why are we going for obvious signings? Why are we going for Sancho? Why are we going for Varane? They're too obvious. Where's the unobvious signings? Well, the one position where I'm like, if we're gonna go unobvious, I don't mind it being a DM. Like I really don't. I don't mind it being a defensive midfielder who can potentially grow into that role and get better as they go along. I'm a person. I'm more of get someone in there who fulfills what we need them to do. Don't have to be flashy name. Don't have to be the most expensive name. But we need someone in there because we've seen Fred and McTominay try and do those roles, either separately or together, and it just hasn't worked. And I feel like I get what you're saying, Terry, in terms of we should always wait for our first choice. But I feel in some instances when it's that desperate and you need it that much, go and get what you can and that does the job that it needs to do. And that's where I stand.
If we get Varane, who's a world-class centre-back, then we can get a good DM.
Yeah, good DM, yeah.
And it will improve us as opposed to... But if we didn't get a Varane, then you need a top quality DM because it's the same. It's that issue that through that midfield or through the defensive area that you're trying to patch up. I think a Varane and a Basuma for 45 million. I think that's brilliant. I think that's brilliant. But no Varane and just Basuma. No, you need something better than that.
I agree, and I get where you're coming from, KJ. I suppose my only kind of caveat to what you've said is it has to be a player high up on Man United's list in the sense of they fit, and I don't care what the criteria is, because everyone have a difference of opinion, but do they fit the technical criteria, the physical criteria, the age criteria, the attitude and application criteria, and does the manager see them fitting this philosophy that the club should be building? As long as they do, I don't care whether it's a 5 million or a 50 million pound signing. I couldn't care less. What I don't want is Ollie to say, look, we really could do with a CDM. And they say, listen, I'm just going to I'm trying to think. I don't want the Fred scenario again. It's Fred or nothing. Fred don't fit what I want. Well, you get Fred or no one. That is the way I don't think we can go back to that as a football club. And I think we need to, it's getting that in between, I suppose, which is important. But yeah, I agree with Nick. If we're going to buy someone and you sell Pogba, then I would want Verratti to come in. A player that I've watched for a long time now. I think he is world class. The way he plays, the way he gets forward, scores goals. He's a tremendous talent. I've been talking about him on the Terrace now for 7-8 years, since he was a kid coming through the ranks in Italy. I'd love Locatelli. I've been talking about him for years. We all have. Locatelli has been on our lips and on the tips of our tongues now for many years. Every time we debate Pogba and Kante and all of this, I mean, many of us have said in recent times, if he come to the Prem, it would take him 2 or 3 years to join the Gerrard, Scholes, Lampard debate. And yeah, Locatelli could be an option. I tell you who I'd love, if we're just throwing names out there random, get anyone, I'd take Jorginho of Chelsea tomorrow.
Yeah, you love him, man.
Oh, he's a beauty. He's beautiful.
It'll be Jorginho and Fred then in the midfield, because he ain't running by himself.
He needs help.
No, but it would work because Jorginho needs players around him that can protect him, right? And that's something that Fred.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'll be
it's not Jorginho at Man United. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a knock. I'm just saying, it will have to be Jorginho and Fred. It couldn't be like Jorginho and Pogba. That ain't
happening. You see, PP don't like doing the whole track and back thing anyway.
That's not PP's. That's not his game. A comment here that says, super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat, by the way. It says, sorry, Terry, I came late today. I want to know any updates on Arsenal. No, nothing developed since yesterday. The Ben White £50 million bid. I mean, we've seen like Twitter wars today over the Grealish news, and I love watching it because it's like one journalist says this, another journalist, one has. Do you know what? It's crazy. Like, I feel sorry for Fabrizio. When Fabrizio gives news that people don't like, tapping merchant, steals other people's news. When he gives updates that people love, God tier, bruv. I love it. Right. And the same people go from loving to hating him in a few moments. The narcissism within people's reactions, amazing. But no update on Arsenal.
The Tini did sign a new contract.
And White. Lokonga deal is still looking at this point certain. You're trying to firm up the deal for Emil Smith-Rowe, but Villa are circling, and Arsenal are trying to get that done very quickly. Of course, Tierney news today as well that he signed a new deal. So I want to now look at the England team. I want to take a quick look at this in terms of picking this side for the game against Germany. A little bit of fun in this show. Keep your comments coming in. I'm Twisted Bubba. We are going to answer your question about what an acceptable first season looks like for Jadon Sancho at Manchester United. We'll come back and put that to the panel a little bit later. So we're going to take a little look here at picking the England team. And I think the first thing I've got to do is set this formation change to a 4-2-3-1 because we know we're going to play a 4-2-3-1. That's absolutely it's pretty much a nailed on certainty case.
Wait, Gary, something tells me I've been reading that apparently he might change to a 3.
No, that's
the only one that I've read this.
No. I think it's speculation. I don't think it's actually what he's doing. I think it's speculation that he should.
But that's what I'm saying, KJ, because obviously Terry said we're definitely, they're definitely going to play 4-2-3-1. I don't know if it's definite. Of course, we can do it for hair, but I'm just saying I don't know if
we could do both if we got time.
So what we'll do, guys, is on this here is we'll kind of debate and vote in the players we think, but we all get one star pick each, which means this position, like we're in the debate, like almost golden buzzer, this is my guy. I'm putting in the person that I want for that role.
Yeah.
Unless somebody tries to put in Sterling as a number 9. KJ,
No.
No, we're not having that, KJ.
I can't let it do it. Matt, someone says Matt Law reported it. Oh, about the 4-3-3. So let's start off in goal. Are we all pretty much in universal agreement that it's going to be Pickford?
Yeah.
It can't be Ramsdale for sure, man. We are ending if he's in net.
I'm going to try and pick the easy positions first. Left back, are we sticking with Luke Shaw, do you think?
Yeah, no, he will be Luke Shaw. It will be Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw and left back. Okay. Right back.
Reece James, man.
I want Reece James, but it's going to be Kyle Walker in it. I want Reece James.
No, but are we picking what we want? Or are we picking what Southgate would do?
I know it says your thing, but we're going to pick what we think, how I want to do this is we're picking what we think Southgate will do, but you get one golden buzzer each to make your player go into that position.
Right.
So,
Jem, use it, back. Jem, use it.
Well, not yet. He said we've got to do it, go through it, and then do the golden buzzer. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Cool. We'll pick Southgate's team, then we'll do our golden buzzer. That makes more sense.
Right.
I like that. So,
Carl Walker. Yeah.
He's going to be Carl Walker, isn't it? It is what it is. Centre back. This is where the debate comes. Look, John Stones is going to be one of them, isn't he?
Yeah, John Stones ain't going nowhere. He's
John Stones is in. So the question is, I want to go Jem first on this. Maguire looked good the other night. Do you go with Maguire or do you stay with Stones and Mings that played the first two real competitive games?
I go with Maguire because he's our best defender, our best English defender. And if he's fit and he's on the bench, then for me, that means he has to play. KJ, you're doing that, but I've always
I couldn't hear you, Jem.
I've always stuck up for it. So you can't even say that. Mings has had a couple good games. I get that. But come on. We're playing against Germany. You need your best defender on the pitch. Maguire plays.
Anyone? No argument from me.
Yeah, no, it has to be Maguire in my opinion.
Man like Hazard Maggie in the team, right? There he is. Double pivot.
Phillips and Rice, you know it's going to happen. You know.
Wait, are you sure Henderson won't come in?
No. It won't be Henderson. I'm guarantee you, it's Phillips Rice.
All right, let me ask you, KJ. So why did he bring Henderson?
Why did he bring Henderson? To be in the dressing room to make sure everything's okay.
No, I understand what reason we gave, but I'm saying the likes of a Maguire and a Henderson who had their injury issues. I feel like at the earliest opportunity, he's bringing them into the game.
Yeah, but the Knicks, remember this though. Henderson has been fitter than Maguire.
True.
And he could have been playing
and he didn't
start
the
first two games, and he didn't. So for me, I just feel like Rice and Phillips is his go-to, and then I think Henderson's gonna potentially come in during half-time or at some point.
Who's the most mobile? Two, Phillips and Henderson.
Phillips and Henderson.
Yeah, they're the most mobile. Yeah,
I feel like he might. I think he might go with Henderson. You know, we don't know it, but I feel like he might.
If somebody wants to trump sort of golden buzzer it in, we will. Who's starting on the left? Sterling.
Sterling's playing.
I don't know why, but yeah.
How the hell is he not? He won't let me pick Sterling. This is
midfielder.
Oh, they got him as a striker.
Because they understand where he should be playing. That's why. Put him in where he belongs.
It's BBC. That is trash.
Terry, change it to 4-3-3 and see if it pops up.
Yeah, it will pop up because they know where he should be. Bro.
Yeah, so he's gonna go there. We're gonna have to do it like I'm gonna have to do it like. Hang on a minute. Let me take Phillips out of that role for a sec. I'm gonna have to put Phillips in here. They won't let me now. Oh, this is annoying, right? So this is. I'm gonna. Oh no, that's not what I meant to be doing, right?
We're putting Phillips there.
Going in there. Henderson's there in a minute, but we're gonna have to do it this way because we've got to get Raheem Sterling in. BBC, screw you. Raheem Sterling, right hand side. The big question is it gonna be and should it be Saka?
It should be Saka.
It should be Saka.
It should be Saka. Will it be Saka?
I think
yes.
Are you thinking it'll be Saka?
Yeah, I think it'll be Saka. I personally think, but I just feel like Southgate, yes, he's incompetent on many different levels, but I don't think he's that incompetent.
You don't think he's gonna bring back Foden
for what?
No, Southgate.
I know Southgate attacks, but listen. I feel like the way that we're going to play against Germany, we're not going to go toe to toe. Like, we're not. Like, it's not Southgate's kind of thing. He will see that performance that Saka had and be like, oh, Ross, someone who can carry the ball at pace. He will track back and defend as well. I'm going to need that on my right-hand side, especially with Sterling and Kane, and if Grealish plays. Those three aren't the best workhorses defensively. So I feel like he will go and supplement that with a Saka coming in to help them out defensively. I don't think Foden offers that.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, I would say this now. For me, Foden needs to be on that bench regardless. That's where he needs to be as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to say I think he will pick Saka.
Yes,
but my trump card's coming in for that position. I'm saying that now.
Oh, no.
Number 9, it's going to be Kane, isn't it? Like, we know he's
Sterling. It should be Sterling.
It's going to be him. I'm also, by the way, I'm taking out Henderson because I think this is the number 10 role, but it doesn't look like a number 10 because of the way this thing is. But Jack Grealish is in there, which is pretty much, this is the team that started in the last game. And obviously, we're very good in that game.
I don't see Jack Grealish starting.
I was just about to say that. I think Mason Mount may come back.
You think Mason Mount is coming over him?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because in this game, you're going to need people to work. And Mason Mount provides legs, not only going forward, but defensively as well. And when you're playing against this German team, we know how they're going to play. It's pretty much how Chelsea played under Tuchel. That's how they're setting up with the three at the back and the wing backs. You need legs in the middle to get across the wings, cover. You ain't getting that from Grealish. You ain't getting that from him. And Mason Mount will give you that. So I really got a sneaky feeling that he will play Mason Mount in this game.
Well, no, I agree. I put it like this. If we think, he's going to go with Saka because he's not going to, Southgate tax don't kick in on Saka. It's going to kick in on Grealish. Like, he ain't saying, I'm going to go there and let's get the foot on the ball and dominate possession. Yeah. He's not going to make that many bold decisions and leave out Mount.
Wait. Is there, we're just talking about Henderson. Is there actually a chance that he goes in midfield 3 of Henderson, Rice, Phillips?
Oh, my, can you imagine?
Oh, God. God.
Because we're talking about Southgate. He could do that.
He put Mason out on the wing.
The problem when you do that is, right, look, I would pick Grealish over Mount personally. I still think you need that element of flair. But at least with Mount, there is somebody that can attack. He is creative. If you went with a 4-3-3 and a 4-2-3-1 are not overtly different formations, really. It depends when you're in and out of possession. But if you go with that 3 in midfield, and I know Phillips created the first goal of the tournament with his pass, but there was almost zero creativity in that midfield. And then it puts all the pressure on our front 3 to be goal scorers and creators. And then you start to see things crack. And he has to pick.
But Terry, that is all dependent on if England want to be on the front foot. If they're playing low block, counter-attacking football, you don't need all the midfielders to be creative. You can play long balls in behind, and they have all the space in the world for Saka, Sterling, and Kane.
Okay, so what do you think then? Will he start with Mount, Grealish, or Henderson?
Mount.
So we'll keep Mount in for now. Let's have a little bit of fun with this. People's trumps. And I'm doing mine first. First golden buzzer. Oh, by the way, Rams is here with us now as well. How you doing, Rams? First, my card, I'm using mine. And I'm basing this on the fact that the amount of Germans that are saying the Germans are scared of new Manchester United signing, Jadon Sancho. He has to go in on this right-hand side for me. That isn't because Saka didn't have a brilliant game. But I think we're going up against Germany. Man plays in Germany. He knows these guys. He just knows and understands German football. You want him in there. You want the little tinks in the armor. My golden buzzer is Jadon Sancho to start on the right-hand side. And that isn't a Man United bias. That's because we're playing Germany. If we weren't playing Germany, I'd keep Saka in. But because it is the Germans, Saka is my golden buzzer.
Saka?
Sancho. You know who I meant. You know what I meant. Sancho, buzzer.
Can I do mine?
Yeah, go on.
I know you said you're not going to allow this, but I'm going to try it anyway. So put Sterling in the center and put what's his name, Saka, in there as well.
You know, KJ, that's not a mad shout. You know,
This is
it
what
might sound mad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It is that bad.
No, one thing I want is Raheem Sterling and Mats Hummels in a foot race. I want that because Mats Hummels is Maguire. He's a fridge. He can't run. You saw what happened to him against Mbappe. I want that.
Mbappe.
Look at that. Look at that. That team.
Pure
that
pace.
team right there beats Germany. I'm telling you now, it beats Germany.
Well, there's some more golden buzzers left. Jem, who's your golden buzzer going to?
Reece James for Kyle Walker.
Yes. Let's go, Jem.
Straight up.
Yeah. What about you, Ram?
Henderson's coming in because of greatest Liverpool player.
No, because I don't want Henderson because I don't think this is the right game because he's not 100% fit, and I don't want a German midfield against him, against someone that's a midfield that is not 100% fit.
Basically, he doesn't want Henderson, his Liverpool hero, to be
No. I want what's best for England. That's the most.
And that ain't
important
Liverpool.
Come on, Ram. Hurry up, get to the point.
You know what? I'll pick. I can't think of any.
Let me pick mine.
I'll go through.
Okay, I'll come back to you in a minute. Go on then, Nix.
Henderson for Rice.
Yes, bruv. Get it done. I'm on that as well.
I can deal. I can deal with that. I can deal with this. Look at that team.
So no one's golden buzzering. No one's putting Grealish into this team.
Wait, Terry. I'll put Bellingham over Phillips.
Ooh.
He's based in Germany as well. Yep,
the German thing.
He's basically German.
And he has legs.
Well, if you're gonna do that, then Grealish can't come in because there's not even enough defensive solidity in that midfield. If you Grealish in there,
that midfield though is already giving me nightmares. That midfield is
that midfield is terrible. Let's get it out there right now. It's not working. It's not working. You know what the saving grace is though? You know what the saving grace is from that midfield? The attack. The attack's saving grace because that attack.
But KJ, whatever midfield England picked is pretty much terrible.
Can I ask you a question quickly, KJ? Why Sterling and not Rashford up front? Because they're both not strikers.
Yes, but Rashford is as we've seen this tournament isn't at full pace. It's not actually at full strength. Gareth Southgate's been barely playing him, and Sterling, as much as we've been lying him and moan sometimes about him being there, has been scoring our goals. Rashford hasn't scored for us. Like legit, he is at least produced something for England, and his movement is good. I just want him on the ball as little as possible because his build-up play this tournament, I think, has been poor from Sterling. It's been poor from Sterling. But Harry Kane isn't producing anything either, so I'd rather Sterling.
You can't drop Harry Kane, man.
I say
yes,
one
thing.
No, you can't. Look, I wouldn't drop Harry Kane, but he's allowed his card. Sunshine here. I agree with it. I would take. See, for me, I'd make a few changes here if I was picking this now. I would take Bellingham out and put Phillips back in, and then I'd take Mount out and put Grealish in. And I think with Saka can help out defensively when he needs to. One thing I will say, I'm not too convinced about Sancho helping out defensively. I don't know why. I just don't seem like the type. Where Saka, he will. Saka is that kind of guy that would do that. So, but yeah, listen, it's not too bad a team. We're going to confirm it because everyone used their cards on it. So that's where it is. We've picked it as it is. State of it. We're going out.
Look at that midfield. Oh, listen, can we go back and put Phillips back in for Bellingham?
Done now.
And then we're sorted.
It's done. It's finished.
Become like Arteta playing bloody false nine in the quarterfinal, whatever semi-final of the Europa League. What an idiot.
I'm telling you, the false nine Sterling is the way forward, bro.
Does
it?
Yeah.
No, that team was terrible. Like that team.
But you know what? I'm not.
Who made it terrible? You.
No, Ram did. No, Ram did. No, it was Ram. Because
why is it me? Why is it me? You came up with the idea. I had a thought to think about it.
Shush. Let me explain. The midfield was solid. You had Henderson, you had Phillips, you had Mount, solid midfield.
Sterling up front.
And then you had a front three that can counter at pace, that will work hard, and you got the midfield and defense behind that.
Yes,
You have to go put Janet Bellingham in.
Yeah, Bellingham
reason?
could do the box to box. Bellingham could do
No,
box
for
to
what
box. Yes, he
reason?
can.
Listen,
Yes, he can.
I'd rather have Bellingham playing in the team than Sterling up front, and that ain't even a joke.
Why would you want
That's
that?
what I'm
That
saying.
makes no
It's
sense.
a madness team. No balance to that team. That team, I told you, that center is
Big
weak,
team.
like a
Big
chocolate
team.
truffle, mate. Like truffle in the middle, just soft and gooey. Like it's one of them ones. It wouldn't work. But listen, I've tried not to think too much about. I try not to think about him too much, the game too much, because it's starting to make me nervous in the build up to it. And do you know what's making me nervous? It's the run after it. It's the run after that is so. I'm not gonna say listen. The quarterfinal is a game.
It's favorable.
It's favorable. What I'm saying, and it's like you can almost taste Wembley on final day. Do you know what I mean? You can always beat Germany. And listen, you can't help but do that. And someone said to me the other day, "Oh, you shouldn't be looking beyond the next game." I'm like, "Yeah, the players shouldn't, but there's a reason that they show the route to the final."
Yeah,
So the fans can.
But remember, England fans are the only fans that are not allowed to support their country. They're not allowed to get excited. They're not allowed to say what if. Everybody else is fine. You know what I mean? It's look at him. You know what I mean? English, don't you dare disrespect the Germans and Sweden and the Ukraine. I'm not disrespecting anyone. I just look at it and think there's a chance, and that's all. If you remember
deja vu, that's what it is.
that scene in Dumb and Dumber, that scene in Dumb and Dumber when he asked the girl out, and she basically if you were the last guy on earth, then I still don't think there'd be a chance. And his reaction was, so there is a chance, right? That's how I feel as an England fan. It's like it's minuscule. But it is certainly there.
I'm not overly convinced of Germany. I know it sounds mad, but the players that they have is not the Germany that we're so used to.
I'm surprised, Ram. I thought you'd be watching Germany in black and white and be like, "Oh, Lothar Matthäus and Beckenbauer is just going to add to it."
Exactly. It's not. They don't have those kind of caliber. Maybe one, and I say Kimmich, but that's it. I'm not really overly concerned about them. I think we have a really good chance. I really do.
No, I feel like it's a 65 35 split.
60-40.
To Germany.
Germany. I think it's straight 50-50.
Let me change that. 60-40. 60-40.
Yeah, but England, you know what it is? England got that home advantage as well. The one thing I do think this country needs to do, though, is start to build. Maybe it will be after the Germany game if we're sort of fortunate enough to I'm not too sure where James disappeared to, but David's here with us now. So there we go, like for like.
That seems embarrassing.
To me, one thing I like about this is hopefully we get past Germany, that there needs to be more national support and when in terms of a buzz about it. And I know there's a lot of things going on. How you doing, Mr. Hancock? I did find crazy today, right? I said it so many times on this channel how on certain stories we will ignore who the publication of that story is just because it gets someone that we dislike. And I was like, I seen a friend of mine today. He was sharing all the pictures. I'm like, brother, I love how you cut the sun out of all the pictures that you demonstrated. The sun are great today. We love the sun today. Well, it's only one day. I'm like, there's a lot of stuff going on in the country that people are down about. But we're in the knockout stages now. The majority of the games are going to be in England. And I just think we need to get behind the players more. Russia should never have got as far as they did during their World Cup in 2018. But I think the national support elevated that team. And England are at home for potentially every single game barring the quarterfinals. And the quarterfinals would be probably our most simplistic game if we got there. We just need the country to be, I think, more supportive, more noise, more togetherness. And if we can do that, that home advantage should help us. But you know what? I need to stop thinking about it because I'm getting too excited. Too excited indeed. David, what are you saying, bro?
I was going to say that team is awful. That team is so bad. I don't know what you lot are doing. But I think the key to beating this Germany team is play three at the back. Match them man for man. Because I think man for man, that's how you beat them. I feel like if you try and go in the 4 and you let their fullbacks push up because Southgate's going to play quite a defensive game, I feel like you're asking for trouble because Havertz has got he's really good aerially. What?
What happened to we? What happened to we?
We.
I don't. No. Wait, what do you mean? Oh my god, I've done it, haven't I? Oh my god, no. Oh,
you true allegiances.
I'm getting no. I'm supporting England. I hope you are. I'm going to the game.
Just get out of here. I don't need traitors here. At least Neeks is honest about who he supports. At least Neeks is honest about who he supports.
Genuinely, I support England. It's just that this is like the first time in so long that England have played Germany. The last time I came into school and I was so annoyed after that fight. I was so annoyed. So don't question I'm more English than I am German. But you need
David, who would they play in the front three then? Who would you play in the front?
Who would you play in the front three?
In the 3-4-3.
Unfortunately, you do have to play Kane. I don't want to play Kane, but you do. So I'm going Grealish, Kane, Saka.
No,
so no Sterling?
No. Actually, no. I'm playing 3, aren't I? No, I'm going to go Sterling, and then I'm going to put Saka at wing back because I know he can do both the forward and the backwards.
That's what I'm thinking.
That makes more sense.
Yo, tell me,
I would like again.
Can we quickly do a three back?
A what? Sorry.
A three back formation.
Yeah. If I don't have hopefully the BBC lets me re-pick a team. I don't know if they do. Yes, I can. Yeah, that's done. 3 at the back. 3-4-3. It comes out as. So let me just put that up on the screen there. So I'll very quickly pick Pickford. So who are going to be the centre backs here?
So I would love Maguire, Walker, Shaw. Like
I will go. No, actually, I will go Walker. What was it? Maguire, Walker, Shaw. No. I'll go Walker, Shaw, Maguire. Walker, Stones, Maguire. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I do. Walker, Stones,
right, full back. You put Saka in. Oh, that's what you were looking at saying a second ago. Who would be the left full back?
No. It would be Reece James, or you could do Ben Chilwell.
I'll go Reece James on the right.
Hang on, guys, one sec. The BBC don't let you see, because it classes it as a midfield. So they don't
is that 5?
5 at the back.
5-3.
So they're so but now you can't pick Saka.
Tell me. Can you pick
a 5-2-3?
5-2-3. Can you pick 5-2-3? Is that a formation?
Okay, but you're not listening to me.
No, you
can't pick a 5-2-3.
5-3-2.
5-3-2, you can.
Yeah, 5-3-2 will have to
do. You can't get Saka left.
My point, you can't get Saka.
Is at the top.
Put Chilwell.
No, he hasn't played a single.
Nah, shush.
No, don't shush. When I make a suggestion that's different, it's your man. Stupid.
Reece James, right wing back. Then Walker, Maguire.
Yeah, Walker for sure. It would have to be
Walker. Maguire.
It doesn't work out properly, but
I'd play Stanch.
Okay, but what would the midfield be?
I actually think it would be Phillips
and Rice
and Rice, and then it'll be Jack Grealish or Mal as one of the two or one of the three.
Why no Henderson?
Because he's not fit. He's old. He's not
old.
Good.
He's just not 100% fit.
He's old. He's an old man.
He's not old. He's not old.
And then up front, who'd be the two up front?
I read Kane and Sterling.
Yeah.
But David, you're suggesting Saka instead of Chilwell?
Yeah, basically.
I'd rather have.
My thing is that I don't want to allow the Germans to push their fullbacks forward because that's when they've been the most dangerous. So. And aerially, they're quite good as well.
Yeah, they are. There's two sides to that, though, isn't there? You see, if they push their fullbacks forward, that gives us opportunity. If we play, you can do it with fullbacks, but you can also do it with fast inside forwards because when fullbacks push on, there's space in behind. And one of the things about Liverpool, which everybody was too scared to do up until March 2020, when the Liverpool downfall started, was to start putting more men into the space, being brave enough to not make everybody come back and defend, and then knocking the ball out into those areas and then catching the high line out. Germany played with quite a high line at this tournament. If their fullbacks push forward and they've got a fairly high line, the likes of Sterling, Saka, Sancho, maybe Rashford from the bench, that they can exploit that space. All you then need, though, is the better ballers in the midfield. That's why you can't have Henderson in there, because that guy can't pass too great. We saw that against Croatia.
Oh, that was
Have you
disgrace.
have you seen Hummels try and run? It's embarrassing.
Oh, he's an old man. No, when I talk about old man.
He's
Oh
an
yeah,
old
and you know
man.
what we're gonna
He's an
do?
old man.
And apparently, we should be lining Harry Kane up against Hummels so
I
they can have a slowest runner race.
I agree with you. Yeah.
No, I'm not coming for you because you. Relax, bro. I'm not coming for you. I'm talking about these man. Chill.
However, I think Hummels might be the one centre back that might not be able to keep up with Harry Kane because he is actually that slow.
And Harry Kane isn't that slow either. It isn't like
this tournament is slow, bro.
Yeah, he's been blowing Bateson up front. He's been.
It's like a Maya Jama run with cement on her boots.
We'll see. Look, that's the second team that's been picked by us today, ladies and gents. As you can see, I'll confirm that one in so you can all see it a little bit clearer there. That's the 4. As if we went with there was more of a 3-4-3 it was meant to be, but the BBC don't provide those angles, which is nice of them. They're well out of touch, absolutely out of touch. But listen, everyone who's tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Do us a big favor and smash the like button. It means a great deal to us if you could do that. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Back tomorrow, of course, starting to cover the round of 16 knockout games at the Euros. Until then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all again very